All right, so let's talk about anything that you've been doing lately, Rome, that has changed your life in any kind of positive ways.
The carnivore diet,
Oh, what's the carnivore diet?
where you basically just eat meat. I haven't been at the
That
highest
sounds
level.
crazy.
I know it.
That
does
sounds
sound
insane,
crazy.
dude. You're gonna die.
Dude, you're
You
gonna
need
have a heart.
carbs, bro. Dude, you don't eat French fries. You don't eat bread,
No.
dude. Did you talk to a doctor about this?
Did I have my blood checked?
Have you had your blood checked, bro?
Dude, I'm nervous for you. Dude, we got to actually, I'm going to call 911.
I'm gonna
right
go
now.
buy some French fries right now. I'm gonna order like a box of French fries.
You're
and get them
actually
delivered.
dying right now.
You know what? I'm gonna call McDonald's and have them deliver a box of French fries every single morning for the next month, and then to see if you're still on the carnivore diet.
No, it snuck up on me. I heard, of course, through Joe Rogan first, and then I went down the rabbit hole because, later in life, you start gaining weight.
Do I? I get the hope. I don't.
And you start gaining weight.
I wish I could gain weight.
Yeah, but you might have the internal, stuff. But either way, as far as gaining weight, so like I went down the rabbit hole, and it turns out like I was listening to many pieces because around Kirk we'd watch anthropology movies and documentaries, and so I was listening to what the bones looked like back then, and so all these pieces came together, and it turns out everybody on the planet, we started eating meat. There's no herbivores out there. I mean, like known to have thrived. I even listened to Chafee. He was like talking about the biggest people are like the biggest meat eaters, like the Vikings, and because they're out in where it's cold, so they're just eating fat and meat, right? And so they're these huge people, right? Anyway, so turns out like we always ate meat as cavemen. We were eating fruits and eating raw meat and sprinting, and that's what built us to the humans that we are today. And
So what is your diet like right now?
so basically, I eat twice a day. Like I'll eat a piece of meat, like from Whole Foods, or I get some salmon, some smoked salmon, eat it, then come home and cook a steak. And I've been eating a steak every night. All
right, keep going.
Yeah, I'm not like perfect. Like they say, water, salt, and meat.
That's the lion diet.
That's
right?
the lion diet. That's the cleanest. They say that's the best if you're going to do it. I'm not that. I'm still putting A1 sauce on stuff, but I still notice so much. Like you said, I didn't even notice that my gums stopped bleeding. You know what I mean? I floss every day, and it's just like my teeth are less sensitive.
Yes, way like cold, not a problem.
Not a problem.
Not a problem.
I'm like the coldest water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I noticed too, like when I eat a lot of sugar, obviously the drinking doesn't help up, but when I would drink and like eat, like I remember a couple times I bought the better sodas, which aren't better, but just better sugar, I guess, from Whole Foods. Like they had this cola. And I got into a couple days of drinking. It messed my teeth were doing all this weird stuff, and I couldn't. Everything was sensitive, and then other issues, the itchiness, and I just didn't realize, like, man, I cannot fuck with sugar. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, so what are some of the other benefits of so far? How long have you been doing the carnivore?
Let's see. When did we start? Like when we moved? How long have we been in this house?
This is our 2.5 months.
Yeah, so I would say about that. I started getting serious when we moved here. Yeah. I mean, of course, I slipped here and there, ate a burger and stuff, but it's been fairly easy for me to stay on it. It's not like crazy hard.
How many pounds what are the benefits that you've got
just
so far?
Less, sleep better. I would have like itchy legs at night because I didn't realize that was all the sugar and, the alcohol. And
so your legs used to itch at night, and now they do not anymore.
I would itch everywhere.
And that's only at night. That was
like when I sleep, I'd be like itching. So I'd have my brush and be itching myself, and my legs they call it restless legs. They just kind of want to move. Just went away. Teeth are not bleeding, not sensitive. Skin's getting better, softer. Losing weight.
How much weight?
I would say probably a solid 10 pounds for sure. But I'm drinking so much water. Every time I weigh myself, because I'm drinking massive water, even a lot more these days. So I realize I have a lot of water weight still, but it's been progressively getting better. Like my weight is, coming off. And then I'm working out more. So it's just all around better. Sleep, more focus, not in a hazy malaise. What else? Definitely more in control of, my moods. My memory's better. Yeah. And
More in control of your moods? What do you mean?
just don't go off the rails. Don't get too happy. Don't get too mad. I can reel myself back in a little bit better, and stay even keeled.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then like you, I'm probably going to add fruit, eventually. Cause I think that's the highest level. It's just fruit and meat. I think that's what we've, thrived on. And, I think too, it's kind of godly too, because like we're moving away. When you eat fruit and meat, they're in the state that nature made them. So nothing's happening. They're not in a box. Nothing's added to it. So, it just makes sense. And I feel more energy than I ever have, more consistent. I don't get tired as much, only when I work out, because now I'm working out more. So if I work physically and then I come home, I usually want to just kind of, and then the heat, but I think that gets better the more I get more fit. Then I won't need naps, but I have to go through this process because I got out of shape. But I think I'm on the right path with the meat, and it's proven itself, and I'm going to continue on with it.
Yeah. So I too have been on this. We came about it on our own. I came about it because one day I actually did it a while ago, but then I fell off. It was great before, but I fell off, and I just had a day where I was like, I almost call it like a dark night of the soul day, where it's just like, all right, I'm fed up with my issues. I'm not living up to my potential. I need to crack the whip, start making changes so I can live the life that I've always wanted to live. And because I dabbled in the carnivore before and it was good, I was like, all right, I got to get back on the carnivore. It's just so I've been doing it, and it's obvious, especially when you do it really strict, especially when you do Lion Diet. When I do Lion Diet for 3-4 days in a row, my brain works better. 100% my brain works better. Less fog, more clarity. I have better, longer lasting energy. I sleep better. I feel like my hormones are more balanced and my dopamine levels are leveled out. So I always notice this after fasts, and I noticed it on the carnivore diet, is a sign for me is like when I can be in silence happily. I don't always need to be listening to something interesting. When I get in my car, if I'm eating like whatever I want, then I'm having all these regular dopamine blasts, and I want more. I want more. So every time I get in the car, I've got to be listening to something awesome, something super interesting, or some amazing music. Now it's like, no, sometimes I just want silence.
You mean being alive isn't interesting?
Yeah, exactly, right? Because I need all these. It is fast. It's beautiful. The world is gorgeous and fascinating, and when a carnivore diet allows me to appreciate that more. And I'm more motivated. I can work out more. I want to work out more. My testosterone levels, and I can tell by the morning wood situation, and just my overall. It just, all these things are true with the carnivore diet. Plus, it's so strict. It's another one of those things where the more disciplined you are, the more free you are. Yes, it is a very strict diet. So you basically saying no to 95% of everything you see in the store. But also just that is healthy too. When you drop out all that junk, you're saving your body so much. It's also time. You're saving time. You don't need to eat as much. You're saving money. It's actually a very inexpensive diet because you're satiated. It's probably the easiest diet to follow, though not easy.
It's the easiest, hardest diet.
Yeah. All these diets are hard, but this is the easiest because you actually are satiated. And now but it is somewhat monotonous. Let's be real. It is not all rosy. Just eating meat gets old pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you find different ways to spice it up. I went 2 weeks pretty 97% carnivore. I was still doing sauce here and there that wasn't carnivore. But now I'm experimenting with meat and fruit, which I think I will be able to maintain for the long term. And I'm gonna try it off in that. I did 2 weeks pretty strict carnivore, good results. But I go to work and I have chefs at work, so it's either like it's a blessing and a curse because I'm not in control of what food they make. I can obviously be in control. I could say no, I'm not gonna eat your chef food. I'm gonna go home and eat. But then I'm also ostracizing myself from my work community, or I could be like, I need just beef and salt. But they put other stuff in the meat and stuff, and I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna be so hardcore. So now I'm just doing meat and fruit. I'm loving it.
Right.
The thing too that's interesting about meat and fruit is they don't give you the strong dopamine blast that you get from cooked foods and processed foods. Like you eat some candy, you eat some junk, you'll get a dopamine blast and you want more. Like pizza, you want, so good, you want more. Meat and fruit are good, but they're not so good that you're just like drunk on dopamine.
Or you're gonna stuff yourself like crazy.
Yeah. You can't. They're really both hard to overeat because your body gives strong signals on when you're done. It's like you're done. This doesn't taste good anymore. Stop eating. With pizza, you don't get that signal until your stomach is about to burst open, and then you're like, oh, I can barely walk. Let me roll myself out of here. Now I guess I'll stop eating. But 20 minutes later, you might want to eat more.
Right. That's scary. And then Yeah, too, like, like you said, the meat, that's why I say I'm not going to be too strict. I know that I'm on the way, but, I want texture. I want to eat some eggs and that's carnivore, but like cheese, put some cheese on my steak, just to liven it up, to make it. But then sometimes I'll have a burst of 3, like you said, 3 days, and I'll just be real strict. I want to be real strict. Like, it depends on how, like, I start out, like I've had like 3 days in a row where I eat some smoked salmon in the daytime and I feel, okay, I got that. And I eat a steak at night. But I'm still not drinking just water, but even though I'm drinking mostly water. So I'm still drinking these sweet, higher level, Gatorades from Whole Foods that don't have much sugar.
Whole Foods?
Whole Foods. But also now I'm actually mixing that with water, right? So I'm cutting it, right? So
now it's like a hoish food.
Yeah. So it's like... But it's still serving its purpose. It gives me that little sweet, outside of just water.
Which is interesting because maybe that's like the fruit, maybe that's the fruity thing that is, really it's about experimenting.
And cutting back, like the whole thing is just cutting back at what is not going to be, optimal, and allow the devil to get into your ear, you know what I mean? To overdo it and get fat, get, all of that,
One thing I will say for sure to anybody who's listening to this, I know we have a huge audience and we love you guys. But if you are dealing with any kind of chronic issue, especially like there's a few issues that seem to really plague people chronically that carnivore is commonly used for, and like eczema is one.
Ooh.
A lot of people who have eczema, because I know people who have eczema and that usually doesn't go away fast. Like maybe it comes and goes, but a lot of people have chronic eczema and they try all this and that and it never really goes away. And there's many, many, many weird things that can go wrong with the body. And if you are dealing with any of those, I can't recommend more going on the carnivore diet. Experiment, people. That's what it takes. You don't got to trust anybody. Experiment. Do your research. It's not as crazy, or you're definitely not going to hurt you. But go on it for a month. 1 month is all you need to know. Even 2 weeks. And I will guarantee that if you have some chronic issue and you go on the carnivore diet, it's going to help. So try it out. And the more strict you are, the better.
Or even if you can, like you said, do 3 or 4 days on just, that, and then you're going to, I need to balance out and, but you're right too. I forgot to mention the ankle thing.
Oh, yeah.
The ankle, like I, played basketball for like 20 years and I sprained my right ankle like 5 times really badly. And so I didn't realize how much the sugars and all that stuff, cause I would have, I'd be limping sometimes. But it's turned out that, we all have a weakness in our body and then wherever your weakness is, the inflammation will go because it's it's an easy place to start.
Yep.
And of course, it'll keep going up into your limbs as you get older, and all this stuff. Like people who have like inflammation and arthritis, their diets are horrible. They're probably eating way too much sugar
Yep.
and stuff like that. And then so I did that, and the ankle issue went away. I
Yep.
mean, no more inflammation, no more limping. But then when I actually slip and
What happens when you eat a burger?
I eat a burger, then it comes back a little bit. But I realized before I was drinking, eating, waffles with syrup on it, even though it's all from Whole Foods, mind you, but it's still
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods, and just eating like tiramisu sometimes, and then drinking alcohol. So all that is sugar. But the more I kind of cleaned up, the better the ankle felt, and then I get closer. So then now, if I eat a burger with some bun, I get a little something, nothing near what it was, because I've cleaned up so much around it. And I realized, this is what people don't do as they age.
Yeah.
They don't start cleaning their diet up. And then the eczema, which so many people have, my dandruff is better. You know what I mean? No dandruff, like I have flaky areas, and so that's liver related. That means your, skin is, goes to your liver. So your liver's working too hard. You got too much sugar, you're processing, you're making it work too damn hard. So I can't deal with your eczema. So when you eat meat, basically what's happening is you're giving your body exactly what it takes to rebuild all the damage you're doing to your body without anything interfering. Yep. Oh, and my doo-doo smell better.
Ooh, they don't smell at all.
They don't smell at all. Like it's crazy.
That's
like
better.
the cleaner I am, the less it smells.
Yes.
I do a little something, little this or that, then there's some smell.
What about body odor?
A lot better. Yeah. I mean, I never was one with crazy bad body odor, but
that's not what everybody was telling me at your work, but that's fine.
Yeah, like I said, the skin thing is pretty amazing too. Your skin looks better. I feel softer. I had these bumps and stuff on my back, went away.
Yeah, it is amazing, all the little things.
Things.
Another cool thing is when you're on the carnivore diet, it's so strict that you can actually see what foods you're reacting to. Because when you're eating everything and you have a reaction, who knows what it was? But if you're on the carnivore diet, everything gets better, and then you start introducing other things in, you will instantly know. For instance, I was on the carnivore and I was drinking milk. I was like, they had raw milk at work. I was like, raw milk. Let me try that. I would wake up with my stuffy nose. So I was like, okay, my body, I can't do that. Raw milk doesn't work for me. And I tried it like 3 times. I was like, let me try it again. Boom, wake up, stuffy nose. Also yogurt. They got these great organic grass-fed yogurt. It's awesome. I was like, let me try some yogurt, because dairy can be a part of the carnivore. Nope. Yogurt doesn't work for me either. So that's fine. So it's a great way to test things and see. You can find out what's like you said. You ate the burger with just a little bit of bun. Your ankle flares up. Now you know your body does not like bread at all. You're better off without bread. It ain't worth that. So it's a great way to find out the truth about what is affecting you in your diet and what you can tolerate.
Yeah, like potatoes would be better. I would do a couple of days of going to Whole Foods and getting some mashed potatoes, because now we don't even know what fries are fried in. Canola oils and all those oils.
You can count on it's canola oil if it's from Whole Foods.
Yeah, like if you eat fries, like I'm saying, like eating like mashed potatoes is different. It's not like fried.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so that doesn't flare it up. You know what I mean? So
interesting.
I can do that. Like I can introduce that, and that takes care of my carb craving. Just some nice mashed potatoes with So if I can keep a potato every now and again, that's fine. It's just breads obviously don't work for most of us.
No,
it's the killer, man. It just turns to sugar. It embeds all up in your teeth and turns to sugar and messes your teeth up just like candy.
Yeah.
It gooks up the system. And then like when I was eating breads and meat and all that stuff, man, my shit stunk. It's like horrible. But I missed, and another thing, I missed the big stools I was having because I was eating vegetables, bread and meat.
Yeah.
But now I'm just eating meat. It has to be better than eating bread, meat, and salad.
Yeah.
I'm still eating meat both ways, but now I'm just taking all that other stuff out. And then,
Your stools are much smaller.
They're smaller. That means that I'm at the bioavailability of the meat. I'm using most of that to rebuild my body, to regenerate. Because we're always in a state of regeneration, and all these other things get in the way and slow things down. And they say, different acids take to digest meat other than carbs. And so now, and the carbs kind of block the absorption of meat, and, on and on it goes, man. It's just like now there's nothing in the way. I'm absorbing this ribeye in my stomach. And I wake up the next day, And then I have more control of my cravings.
Yep.
I'm satiated. So
Yep.
when I'm satiated, I can be on my purpose more.
Yep.
And not be thinking, oh, when am I going to eat? So
Yeah, you're not even you're less obsessed with food, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because when you can eat whatever, you know it's a huge dopamine blast. It's like this exciting. It could be like the most exciting thing in your life. But let me tell you this: if your food is the most exciting thing in your life, you're not living a proper life. That's a sad life. Okay, your food should not be. That's a false idol. Obviously, we're everybody who's like obese. That's probably one of the reasons is their idol is food. Their highlight of their day is their food. There's a much better life waiting for you. And when you eat carnivore, you get over it. It's just a meal. It ain't no big deal. You just eat, and then you're moving on to the other things that are much more rewarding and powerful in life. It's not about eating.
It's eating's a means to like
Living.
an end. Yeah,
Yes.
like so you're living. So like too, like I would even just kind of going back to the Bible. It's like everybody wants to be happy all the time, and like I want to enjoy every meal. Like the way I look at it, okay, I'm looking forward to my little alcohol time and then eating a tasty ass meal that I cook, right? And get the bread and the butter and then put the garlic bread in. It's like you get so
I want
happy.
every bite to be an explosion of joy.
And then I'm like, okay, once I'm done with my alcohol, then I can go and just eat this meal waiting for me, and it's all just wrong, and I have to pay the price.
It tastes
later.
good.
Oh, it tastes
good. It definitely
good.
tastes good.
The buzz was good, the food was good, but then in the morning, my stool,
Don't taste good.
it don't smell good.
It burns a
I
hole.
don't feel good. I got to wipe my ass for days. Like on the carnivore, you just like almost one swipe. It's like you just do it to check. It's like
Yeah.
it's like literally not this big
Everything works
mess
better.
that you have to deal with. Like 5 times you got to wipe your ass and on shit like that. But it's like these are real things. I know I'm kind of getting graphic, but it's important to know. It's like, oh, I don't have to wipe my ass as much and use almost half a roll of toilet paper because
Yes.
I ate this, and it's so it's just like all the things you're learning is what discipline is, and then discipline leads to fulfillment and greater happiness,
Greater joy, true joy, true fulfillment.
yeah, true joy. Joy is a better word than happiness. Joy has
Yeah.
a deeper happiness is like eating a donut. It's temporary.
Yeah.
It's like,
Uh-huh.
I'm happy, but no, I'm joyous. I'm joyful.
Yeah.
It comes. It's first it's fulfillment, then joy.
Yeah.
Of building something, having discipline, seeing results that benefit you, give you more energy. Now you can push yourself more to your potential, see the truth easier, see clearer, or you just fall into like, oh, I just want to, like you said, that's amazing because we know how like looking forward to a meal makes us happy. Just thinking about it.
Mhm.
Like I know I'm gonna slam dunk this home and eat that burger or whatever,
Mhm.
but
Could be the peak of your day.
it is
That's
something
a
about
lame
it too.
day.
Like when you I'm not so happy to eat carnivore.
No.
I'm not like looking forward to it,
No.
right?
Yeah.
But when it's already proven, the truth has proven itself to me, to where, and it's just enough. That's why it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's just enough to fulfill me because
Yes.
once it does, I eat it. All these other cravings go away. I'm way more disciplined.
Yeah. Now you can go work out. You can literally eat a steak and go work out. That's how your body can handle this food. You can't go eat this pizza and all this meal and then go work out. That ain't gonna happen. There'll be a struggle. But like eat, it's fine. And that's the thing. Like, yeah, your life does not become obsessed with food. Funnily enough, but it sounds like you're obsessed because you're like, oh, I'm just eating this. Oh, this dude's crazy. No. Now your life is about all these other things because you got energy and clarity and hormonal balance to live a full life, not a life with food as your idol.
Or like the satiation it brings gives me craving control, and then I'm not
Yes.
going out so vulnerable. Like it's almost like another way of saying
Craving
that
control.
I'm so satiated the devil can't get into my ear and get me
Yes.
to eat a donut, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm already like satiated.
That's another great thing. I don't even. One of the reasons why I went to fruit was because my body was still craving fruit, but all the other junk foods, my body was not craving at all, as it was before. I always loved pizza. I love bread. I love sweet ice cream, chocolate, coconut. Like at my work, we got the whole 9 yards, all organic coconut chocolate bars and everything you could want is at my work, just sitting there waiting for you. And that's a challenge. But now that I'm on the carnivore, boom, those cravings go away. But I was still craving fruit. That's why I tried it. But I want to talk about a couple of things. One, some very obvious lies that we're all told, which is fats are not good for you. Fats are the mainstay. So if you do the carnivore, you need to eat fatty meats. It does not work if you're just eating lean meats. You need fat. Fat is good, people. Basically, everything you've ever been told about health is probably a lie or based on a false premise or like a half truth. But here's the truth. You need fat. Look at the people, the Eskimos, who live on fat. They don't get cancer. They got great skin. They're not bloated. They don't get eczema. They're healthy. They're living on basically on whale blubber, you know? So you want to eat fatty pieces of meat. And another thing that's very interesting is you really want beef. Beef, you want ruminating animals. You want to eat meat that is from animals that have 5 stomachs that are eating grass. That is your mainstay meat. The other meats like chicken and bird, whatever, that's not going to do you right like beef or elk or deer does, because there's something about that process of them eating grass and it going through 5 stomachs and getting all super digested. That seems to be the healthiest, most sustaining meat to eat. That's your core food on the carnivore.
Yeah, remember like I was saying, we eat the animals that are true vegetarians.
Mm-hmm.
We don't eat lion, and we can probably eat it, but that's not our preference.
Yeah.
Why are we eating the things that only eat the grass, which has vitamin K in it, has all kinds of stuff in it, and then it kind of makes sense too, because man, we think carnivore is a boring, like they could just eat grass all day.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, isn't that
and they're
the
so
most
happy
boring?
to.
They're so happy to.
Yeah, they just want to do it all day long. It's like, oh, I'm just so happy.
It's like, and then too, also I wanted to say, like, a cow doesn't need to be taught, like, having a debate with this vegan, and he's saying we're natural herbivores when there's no evidence of massive herbivores everywhere. And all I did is like, just tell me how we've been eating meat for so long. In every country in the world, we've all eaten meat. So how could we be designed to be herbivores? You know what I mean? There's just no answer to it. There's nothing he can say.
By the way, we're putting out a challenge to any vegans, knowledgeable vegans who would like to have a healthy debate on what is the optimum diet for humans.
Yeah, and then so my things, we've been eating meat. Every country has eaten meat to get us here. So when and how you're going to have to tell me how being a herbivore is optimal when there's no history of it. That's going to be the first thing you're going to have to come to start the debate.
Yeah, I have different points, but we'll see. We'll see what anybody who wants to jump up in the ring.
Right, and it's like when I heard about the carnivore, it made me realize like how much parroting and echoing of the government telling us what is an optimal diet and eating fats. Remember I told you the other thing too, like they were saying sugars, if you eat fat, you'll get fat. That makes sense to the...
Yeah, it sounds like it makes sense. That's the devil's logic right there.
It's the devil's logic, but you eat a bunch of donuts, it will create fat.
Yeah.
So, and then actual fat, it's like...
There's a reason why your body loves it when you eat it. And you're like, ooh, damn, that's good.
That's good. And then why wouldn't we eat flesh if we're flesh? Like if we want to build our flesh, it makes sense to eat flesh. And then the vegan was like, well, meat doesn't have any water in it. What's all that juice in my steak?
We don't need to talk about dumb statements.
I know.
Like,
I'm just like, really? You went to school? So a cow doesn't have to go to school to learn how to eat grass. A lion didn't have to go to school and get a degree to learn how to eat meat. Neither does a squirrel to eat a nut. Why do we have to go to school and it's like, it's instincts. It makes sense how I feel with meat in my stomach. I just didn't get that you have to discard all this other stuff that you're mixing the meat with. That was my misconception, and that's what I want the audience to understand is putting meat in your stomach by itself. That's how we used to eat. We just run, kill something, and then we're cooking the meat. They would eat the meat raw.
And that's obviously probably the best.
The best, right? Yeah. To eat it raw.
I'm not at that level yet.
That means you're getting all the water, you're actually hydrating as you're eating the meat.
And you're truly not addicted to your taste buds.
Right. You're addicted to how you feel after, right? So, yeah. So that's another thing. You want to get to where you're addicted to how you feel and not get into the joy of, cheap,
Pleasure.
Sweet pizza. I miss pizza. I can't lie about it, but I have not touched a pizza. I can't even remember. And I mean, that was in the rotation.
Dude, right before this, I went on a pizza. You saw me.
Yeah.
I went on a pizza run for like 3 weeks. When I would indulge, like I always indulge before I get disciplined. So before this run, I was on a full on indulgence month. This ordering full. I even had Uber for the first time. Uber Eats.
Pizzas.
I was like, really? Does this work? Because they're like, Uber's like, oh, we give you $25 off your first meal. For years, they've been telling me that. I was like, let me try it out, and it worked.
And you
ordered a
loved it.
pizza, got it basically free, delivered to my house, and it was good.
Yeah.
But I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. I don't miss it one bit right now. Right now, I don't miss it at all. I don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear you. I mean, because I basically what I would do is, I would cook, my steak or whatever meat I was eating, and I would get a cheese pizza, and that would be my bread, with the steak.
Oh no, son.
I wouldn't put any meat on it, but I mean, pizza was in the rotation, and I realized probably that was a big part of, my ankle flaring up and all the things that were happening. It's too good. I can eat a pie. Come on, that's not good for you.
No. And I want to touch on one thing too. So a lot of vegans are moral vegans, and they're like animal cruelty. First of all, we definitely agree. Me and you, we've already talked about it, that these inhumane factory farms are not the type of meat that we eat. We don't eat that meat. We don't recommend it. Like when they're just abusing the animals, that's horrible and should be illegal. And I want nothing to do with that meat. But the meat we're talking about is grass-fed, pasture-raised, happy cows. There's a lot of that. We live in Texas. Everywhere you go, you see happy cows out in the fields. That's the type of meat we're talking about. And the other thing is, the more meat you eat, the more animals are born and live. It's like a catch-22, but there's probably more cows. They're one of the most popular animals. They're one of the most abundant animals. Why? Because we eat them. If we didn't eat so many cows, they probably would hardly be around. What are we using? Wild cows? There'd be a couple. But now we have millions, maybe billions of cows that are getting to live a happy life, grazing, being, just grazing out in the field all day, joyous, living the life. Why? Because we eat them. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. And you think that, vegans were saving animals. No, actually, you're making less animals be born because you're not eating them.
And then too, like there's another, theory that I've come upon listening to the carnivore people debating vegans, is the gases that come up from the cows and and all that. It just fuels the soil. It replenishes everything. It's like when you clear an opening for a field of something, you're killing crickets. You're killing not infrastructure, ecosystems of squirrels and bugs and all this ecosystem. You're
for your mono plant that you're
Exactly.
planting. Yeah.
And then too, like I was watching, they were saying that around the pyramids, now that is all sand there, right? But before, like when you look at pictures when they show you when it was a thriving place and everybody was gold and colors and grasses and fields, because they overdeveloped it so much that that's what it turns into, sand. That's what it turns into when it's just you took all the nutrients out of the soil, that it turns to sand.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So that's what happens when you just demineralize. The cows are shitting, putting the things back in there, pooping, and putting it back in the soil. All that steam and the gases that come up, that helps things. And you know what I mean? It's just like,
you're not going to improve on God's plan. No. That's like another one of the devil's tricks. You're not smarter than God. Stop trying to be smarter than God. There's other things to do than trying to outsmart God. Outsmart the devil. Outwit the devil. By the way, amazing book called Outwitting the Devil. Highly recommend it.
Ooh.
It's awesome. Written by Napoleon Hill.
Just think about that too. Like the devil has convinced you to eat what's not optimal for you.
Yes.
Right? So the vegans, like there's just the straight people that eat the junk and they're fooled by just the cheapest, junkiest stuff.
Yeah, if you're vegan eating Oreos,
think like I'm better than you because I'm more empathetic and this and that, but it's actually you're eating the very opposite
of what
of
your
what's
body
so
wants.
beneficial and is going to make you thrive.
Yeah, you're not only harming yourself, you're harming the world because the animals help the world.
Right.
And you're harming animals because they can't exist if you don't eat them.
If you don't
These
eat
certain animals.
Right. And so, and they have this moral high ground, but you're eating, and most of their stuff probably comes out of a box, and you know, like
highly processed.
yeah,
It's very hard to be a proper vegan that's not eating processed foods. It's a
Right.
challenge. And if you can do it, hey, I've tried it. I was never a vegan. I was a fruitarian. That's like a vegan on steroids. And that's amazing. But I think a fruitarian with meat is the proper way.
Yeah.
So I recommend, listen, people, the only way to find out things is to experiment. You can't trust anybody. You can't trust us. You can't trust any book. You got to try things out, and then you can trust that. You can trust God, and you can trust your own experience. So if you have any chronic ailments, including brain fog, being tired, gut issues,
inflammation, skin,
anything, people. Oh yeah, like another thing, I just say my teeth have also they used to be sensitive for years. Now I can drink the coldest. I'm in Texas. It's hot. I love just drinking cold ice water. I can drink ice cold water on all my teeth now. No, it doesn't hurt at all. No sting. No, it's like good. It's like exhilarating. No sensitivities. My gums don't bleed. I always have weak teeth. It's one of my body's challenges, but my gums don't bleed on the carnivore. Yeah, dandruff is better as well. It's so many good things. So if you have, try it. That's what you got to do. Try it out just for 2 weeks. And beef. Try it with beef, fatty cuts of beef. Okay, that's your main thing. You can also do eggs. Just beef and salt, though. If you really want to cure anything that you got going on, beef and salt, baby.
Yes, I agree. That teeth thing is a big thing because, and then too, like I'm imagining, because like when Jordan Peterson said he started healing his gingivitis and all that stuff, that means when they're not so sensitive, that means that you're doing things wrong. Like you're eating things that are affecting, so you can't heal.
Yeah.
So I think when it gets to this level where they're not that sensitive, then healing can start. So
yes.
Maybe even regeneration.
Yes.
Who knows? Because we need our teeth, and they were even talking about teeth, too. I forget the carnivores, like we're not designed to eat like breads, because actually breads are harder on your teeth. Like when you try to bite it, like sometimes like it's hard and it affects my teeth. But meat never does. And then too, you don't care if it gets in between your teeth because it's not going to turn to sugar, right? Yep. Of course you floss, but
it will rot and smell foul. It will rot,
yeah, but it won't turn to sugar. So it's not adding to the problem. You know what I mean? Like bread always does, and it's the worst thing, because as your teeth lose their bone density and there's more spaces in between them, then it can get in there deeper.
Get that ice pick up in there. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about the loose stools that do happen. Joe Rogan talked about it. I've experienced it. You experienced it. So it is part of the process because your microbiome changes when you go on the meat diet. But it lasts only a week or two, and you'll get through it. So
yeah, I haven't had it since. Yeah. Now, but then if you going to the bathroom and having a nice big stool, there's something satisfying about it. But the more stool you have, that means that your body's not using it.
The less you digest it.
The less you digest it.
That's inefficient eating.
So I eat a big thick ribeye and I come out with a little pellet.
Tiny little pellet.
That means that I used all of that. It's like, where did it go? Rebuilding and regenerating my body.
Boom, baby.
Right? So don't be thinking that a nice big, stool
Don't get addicted to big stools like you're a big man.
They're satisfying. They feel good and when they're released, but now that the carnivore community has let me know, like, oh, you just ate a bunch of stuff that you didn't use.
Yep.
And you taxed your whole system. So food for thought.
All right. So yeah. So any closing thoughts?
Like I just agree with you. It's like really, to be told is to be lied to see is to be deceived, but to feel is to believe. So
Ooh.
Test it out. That's Bruce Lee. To feel. It's not enough. Another Bruce Lee. It's not enough to know. One must apply.
Yes.
So if you're interested in finding out what the truth is, find out if you're the person that loves the truth and follows it wherever it goes.
Wherever.
You can't be biased about how you want to look at the truth.
I don't care if you just wrote a book about being a vegan, and find out the truth. Find out the truth.
Right. Go ahead and eat meat and see, and then see your resistance to it. Like analyze yourself. Like, why am I resistant? Like, if it is the truth and it's optimal, why wouldn't I want to know it?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that's why I say I move through and I'm unbiased about everything. So I'm not like attached until it earns its way to for me to keep it. Like, oh, now I believe in it because it's earned its way to be believed. So just do that, and you know, there is an optimal diet for humans. It's called meat.
And on that note,
Let's get on out of here.
till next time.